Yep, I'm doing it again. I'm about to hop up here and talk about how amazing Gravity Falls is, how it's been gone for ages, and once again fall down the pretending Gravity Falls isn't over rabbit hole. Because today, I want to take a deep dive into Gravity Falls Legend of the Gnome Gemulets. Yeah, apparently way back in 2015, there was a whole dang Gravity Falls video game released for the Nintendo 3DS. So of course I bought it, and of course I'm gonna play through the whole thing and make a video about it. Let's take a look. But first, I gotta give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, HelloFresh. So, fun fact, I moved last year, and during the process of settling into my new place, I definitely wasn't paying too much attention to what I ate. I was microwaving a lot. Look at me. Do I look like I can cook? Nah. But that's where HelloFresh comes in. These guys are America's #1 meal kit, meaning they send you a box filled with everything you need to make home-cooked meals straight to your door. They have a ton of recipes to choose from, so you can take full control of your food choices. I'm talking vegetarian options, quick preparation options, carb and calorie smart options, easy cleanup options, and so much more. All that is shipped straight to you every week with all the instructions you need so that even someone like me, who often misses the bowl when pouring his cereal, can prepare actual meals and not just whatever's rotting away in my cabinets. Plus, all the ingredients are pre-portioned so there's no waste. But if you want a little extra, you can easily increase the portion size of your order and have some leftovers for later. It's all totally up to you. So if all that sounds good to you, be sure to click the top link in the description or go to HelloFresh.com and use the code POGFerret16, don't ask, to get 16 meals for free. Plus, you'll also receive free shipping and 3 surprise gifts. So again, that's HelloFresh.com with the code POGFerret16, don't ask, to get all of this. Check it out, make some delicious and healthy food, and support this channel in the process. Major thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring, and now, let's get back to Gravity Falls. The game starts at the Mystery Shack, where Dipper and Mabel are talking to their grunkle Stan.
Ah, smell that country air, kids. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping. It's days like this that make a man glad he's not currently in jail.
Wow, Grunkle Stan, I've never seen you in such a good mood. Did the doctor change your medication?
I just got a good feeling about today. Why don't we take the day off? Grunkle's treat.
So the gang's about to have a nice, relaxing day off. Sounds like the perfect time for a mysterious flying log creature to swoop in and then just kinda leave. Didn't do anything crazy, just flew in, paused, and left. But apparently that was enough for Grunkle Stan to be like,
I could kill that thing and make money off it. Kids, forget everything I just said. We're going after that thing.
And with that,
we're off.
I chased the flying log thing to a nearby forest, but legit, not even 30 seconds later, I run into some thick fog that's blocking my way. Dipper's like, we're gonna need an item to get through here. Let's head back to the Mystery Shack. And then they just head back the way I came. My first task in this game was to enter a level, then immediately leave. This is off to a good start. Dipper and Mabel hop back to the shack, say hi to Seuss, sup dude, grab the magic flashlight from that one episode, and head back to the forest. While playing as Dipper, I used the flashlight in a super fun and challenging touchscreen minigame to clear the path forward. It took like 2 seconds. But look, there's the flying log thing, and he's beating someone up. That's so cool. So this is Jeff the Gnome. He's been around since the first ever episode of Gravity Falls, and he's kind of a jerk. But right now, he's getting flaming balls thrown at him. That's so cool. He falls over and drops this shiny stone on the ground that the creature then steals. And they're gone. Dipper and Mabel are like, what just happened here? And Jeff's like, well, it's a funny story I like to call the setup of the video game you're about to play. So according to Jeff, that stone was the Wind Gemulet, one of 4 elemental crystals that gives the Gnome Kingdom its magic. And now they've all been stolen and scattered across Gravity Falls. Without the Gemulets, the Gnome Forest will die, and it'll just be a bad time all around. So it's up to Dipper and Mabel, aka me, to explore Gravity Falls, find the 4 Gemulets, and save the forest. First things first, I gotta find the creature that made off with the Wind Gemulet. Jeff says it probably went towards the old mine. So I make my way out of the forest, aka the tutorial level, and one map screen later, I have finally reached the actual, proper gameplay. So here's how this junk works. Legend of the Gnome Gemulets is a 2D platformer. You play as Dipper and Mabel and can switch between the two at any time to take advantage of their different attacks and special items. Dipper's got the magic flashlight and Mabel has her grappling hook. The majority of the gameplay is basic running, jumping, beating up enemies, and doing some occasional puzzle solving type stuff. All while collecting this random junk you find on the ground that Grunkle Stan can use to make more of those scam attractions for the Mystery Shack. There's some branching paths to explore, and the levels have some pretty nice attention to detail. None of it's particularly difficult, but this is a kid's game and I'm a million years old. I make my way deeper into the old mine and eventually reach Ooh, a minecart level. Is this gonna be like Donkey Kong Country? Alright then, let's go. Well, Mabel's dead. Guess it's not exactly like Donkey Kong Country. Reload, try again, and after a successful but kinda uneventful minecart ride, I find the last of Grunkle Stan's mystery items, which means it's time to head to the end of the stage. Or at least, that's what was supposed to happen. I had a bit of a brain fart moment. Once I collected that last item, my objective was updated to meet Stan at the cave entrance. So I'm like, okay, I've been in a cave this whole time, so I guess I gotta backtrack like in the forest. And it wasn't until I ran all the way back to the start of the stage that I realized, oh, that's right. I'm an idiot. So I basically had to do the whole level again just to go down this very obvious path to Grunkle Stan that I should have seen the first time. He's like,
Hey, check out this dark, scary, and definitely dangerous cave. You kids should be fine in there. You got a flashlight, right? Alright, I'm leaving now.
Classic Grunkle Stan. I head inside and the Wind Gemulet is legit just right there, sitting around. Huh. Really thought there was gonna be like a boss or something in here. Ooh, wait, here's something. Cool. Grab the Gemulet, and that's level 1 down. Oh, also, before we move on, pay attention to that. Like, really keep that in mind. Trust me. And believe it or not, I've basically played the entire game right there. I'm serious. I take the Wind Gemulet back to Jeff, head back to the Mystery Shack, get an upgrade from Seuss, sup dude, and head off to the next level where I do more running, more jumping, more collecting, more mini games, did everything I've already done, just rinse and repeat. Next level we're getting the Water Gemulet at the lake, then the Earth Gemulet in the deep forest, and then the Fire Gemulet in the caverns. All the levels feel basically the same as the first one. Nothing really changes or gets any harder. The only difference is now we got boss fights to deal with. And by boss fights, I of course mean one singular boss fight repeated over and over. Remember that pile of junk from level 1? Yeah, turns out that's the boss. Of like the whole game. Different versions of this lifeless corpse show up at the end of every future stage to do the same 2 attacks on a freaking loop. I feel like I'm skipping over a good chunk of the game here, but like, look at these. What can I say about this? The story isn't progressing. I'm just grabbing Chaos Emeralds for a gnome who bathes in squirrels. Speaking of, we got all of them now, so I head back to Jeff to hand them all over. Dipper and Mabel are like, here's the Gemulets, you little weirdo. Oh, thank you so much. You've saved the rainforest or whatever. Now I can use these for my totally not ulterior motives. Yeah. Wait, what? Okay, maybe I should have seen that coming. So yeah, Jeff takes the Gemulets, starts chanting ominously, and suddenly transforms into... Dang it. He turns into Dark Jeff. Yes, that's his real name. And yes, he's just another reskin of the exact same boss monster I've been fighting the whole game, except now he has a silly gnome face. And, clearly the game wanted this to be the big dramatic twist, but everyone's just kinda standing there, smiling. Meanwhile, Dark Jeff goes off on one of those classic villain explains their entire plan monologues. Turns out the Gemulets weren't the source of the gnome's magic, and the forest was never in danger. This was all just part of Jeff's plan to assemble 4 powerful ancient talismans that would grant him ultimate power. It's always ultimate power. And all those recycled bosses I was fighting? Yeah, those were the guardians of the talismans who were meant to protect them from falling into the wrong hands. Ancient guardians! And they got wiped out by a couple of preteens. Easily. Like, without any difficulty at all. It's embarrassing. Just then, Dark Jeff sets off this wave of dark energy that shrouds Gravity Falls in, like, darkness or something. I manage to escape. Eventually. And the gang takes shelter in the Mystery Shack where Stan is like,
Don't worry, we'll be safe in here. I reinforced these walls with bunker-grade steel so nothing can... Yep.
As expected, Dark Jeff breaks into the Mystery Shack and starts messing everything up, changing up the color palette, and kidnapping all of Dipper and Mabel's friends. Oh, and then he drops this bomb on me. All those mystery items I was collecting for Grunkle Stan are apparently living components of the ancient totem guardians, which I think is an extremely convoluted way of saying, hey, we're gonna turn all these items into enemies now, and you gotta beat them all before you leave. Gotta be honest, I don't really think that needed an explanation. Especially not one that tries to imply that these frickin' boots are actually an ancient guardian, but whatever. I tear through another bunch of monsters and head out of the Mystery Shack, only to be met by... Oh, one of the Guardians. Apparently they're not actually dead. The Guardian talks to Dipper and Mabel and gives them more info on Dark Jeff. Apparently he's been possessed by an ancient evil entity called Gemularth who was sealed into the Gemulets a long time ago. And Dipper and Mabel are like, wow, thank you for the info. Can you help us fight him? Yeah, cool. So with that, I head to the Gnome Forest one last time for the final level. And this is probably the best level in the game. Not only is it longer, more substantial, and more varied, but we actually have new enemies this time. Like, Waddles? Really? You're kidding. I mean, yeah, technically it's a clone of Waddles created by Gemularth's magic, but like, still, this game is forcing me to beat up a pig. I don't like that. It's only fun in Animal Crossing. After a while, I find the real Waddles, who's trapped under Gemularth's control, and set him free, which takes care of all those clone enemies. Rinse and repeat that to save Wendy, Seuss, and Grunkle Stan, and with that, we've reached the final showdown with Dark Jeff. And it's the same boss we've already fought 3 times now. In fact, this one's actually gotten easier. Whatever, I beat Dark Jeff and he turns back to normal. But with the Gemulets free, they all come together and reform Gemularth, who's... They're really gonna make me fight this boss for a 5th time? Yep. The final boss of the entire game is just another one of these Guardian fights. It's at least a little more difficult. This is the first time any of these bosses managed to kill me, but it's still just another slightly different take on the same 2 attacks. So, one disappointing final boss later, and the day is saved. Jeff's like, sorry. Dipper and Mabel are like, it's chill. And the gang decide to take the Gemulets and toss him down the bottomless pit from that one episode. Wait, really? That's a genuinely terrible idea. These things were scattered across Gravity Falls and protected by ancient guardians to keep them from being put together. And instead of giving them back to the guardians because they're apparently still alive, you just want to chuck them in a hole? We've seen the Bottomless Pit episode, right? We know those Gemulets are just gonna pop out the other side. Literally anyone could just scoop them up at that point. How stupid are you? Just roll the credits. Guys, this game's not that good. Like, even as a big Gravity Falls fan, this was kind of a slog. And it sucks because Gravity Falls has so much potential as a video game. But this, I can't say it's anything more than okay. It didn't even take 5 hours to beat, and for the $20 I paid for it, that's way too short. But I gotta say, it did kind of bring back those Gravity Falls vibes. The levels might not be the most exciting thing in the world, but they genuinely feel like they were plucked right out of Gravity Falls. The character dialogue too. So if you're still in Gravity Falls denial, like me, and want something new to try out, I mean, it's not the worst. Oh, we even have an after credits scene here. Yeah, see? Look, I was right. This game is dumb!